Yo, so today I'm gonna make a PvP meta weapon tier list. Now, thank you guys so much for all the views recently. My videos have been doing pretty well, so I just want to thank you guys. Now I noticed not many people are subs. I'm not gonna force you to subscribe, but if you like my videos, then I would appreciate that. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna get into the video now. So see ya.
Train to Yapperton City is leaving now.
Yo, what's good? So, starting off with light weapons. Now, you might see that some of these weapons are some of the pictures are a bit weird. Just ignore that. It took so long, literally like an hour of just putting in all the text and stuff. So, yeah, please bear with me. So yeah, starting off with Whaling Knife. Whaling Knife is kind of out of the meta right now. The crit is good because it can proc Knife's Journey, but overall it does a bit less damage. I'm talking about alloyed Whaling Knife, by the way. It just does a bit less damage, and the crit isn't as good as normal base dagger crit, so I'm just going to put it in decent for now. Flare Bloods isn't too meta right now. It's good, but you do have to have that 40 intelligence investment, and usually it's only really good if you have a higher intelligence investment. So the only reason it's not really meta right now is because it's only good on Silent Heart, and then even then, like, it's kind of out of meta. But it's still good on some builds, but I just say overall it's definitely not like as good as other weapons. So Curse Edge is also not meta right now. I think, well, it's a good weapon, but I think overall it gets outshunned by something like Tanto, because Tanto has just a lot more damage overall. It does have a faster swing speed, but overall it's definitely, it's at the top of good. It's nearly meta, but I'm just not seeing it as much nowadays. And I think the reason why people used to go it is because of the 30% innate pen, but now you kind of have a lot of ways to just get that for free anyway, with like Seer, let's say, or something. So I think overall, yeah. So carrying on with that argument, Tanto is going to be in meta. Alloyed Tanto I'm talking about here, because Tanto is just great damage, like 29 damage per M1, and best crit in the game, and it's just the best dagger overall, and it has no end lag, which is a very big bonus. So yeah, Tanto is going to be in meta for now. So moving on to this fist weird other light weapon section. So right now, Just Karita, I'd say it's broken right now. It's really, really OP. You can literally just infinite running. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can literally infinite running attack with Just Karita, and you can get infinite combos. It does a lot of damage. It's just basically unparryable, unreadable. With a Herbalist hat, it's just even worse. Super meta, really OP. Needs a bit of a nerf, I'd say, right now, so it's going to be there. Drake Moors, however, need a buff. Drake Moors are not very good right now. They basically have about the same damage as Flamekeeper Cestus's. They have a bit more, yeah, but Flamekeeper Cestus has more pen. And also, the reason why everyone prefers Flamekeeper Cestus is because, one, you get the base fist crits, which are way better than the Drake Moor crits, and also you get the faster swing speed. Now, with Drake Moors, the swing speed is so slow that people don't even need to predict parry against it. They can basically just react parry against it, meaning that you can't really mix up with a Drake Moor crit. So it's kind of just quite easy to parry, and overall it's not really seen ever in the meta. In my opinion, it's not very good anyway, but you know, maybe someone could make a Drake Moor demon build and prove me wrong, but for now, I'm going to keep it in needing a buff. Flamekeeper, however, is meta, because, as I said before, good damage, really fast swing speed, hideable M1s. Yeah, it's OP. LFT is broken right now. LFT is really, really good. The crits are amazing. The fourth crit, the counter one, is literally just like, it's basically free damage. Like, it's literally like a pre-nerf prediction. It's so OP. And then LFT builds in general, they just help you save like 100 points in willpower. Like, you can literally have a free piercing will, lose your mind, basically 20% pen, 15% damage. And you get a free weapon that does like 25% damage with great crits. So yeah, LFT is like pretty OP right now. It's kind of bordering not really needing a nerf, but I think it does still need a bit of a nerf because all the best builds right now have LFT. Legion Cestus is also meta right now. The thing is, it's only really meta because there's these builds with Legion Cestus Metal or Legion Cestus Providence Swords or something. So if you want to go a low investment light weapon, I think it does around 17, 18 damage per M1, which is quite good with a fist. You get a free enchant. You get the fist crits, which are really good. Overall, I think Legion Cestus, it's at the bottom of meta, but it's still pretty meta, and you still can make some really good meta builds with it. So that's going to be there for now. Dragoon and Revolver are both also meta right now. And it's kind of always been the same way. Dual guns, Silent Heart, dual guns OP build, especially now with there's the new Tears of Eden Kite buff, where they basically made it so if you land a crit, your Tears of Eden Kite procs, which is so OP with any of these, because if you land your crit, which is basically a bullet, Tears of Eden Kite comes out, does like a grillion damage, you're dead, fucking literally straight to the grave. It's way too OP. So yeah, dual gun builds, single gun builds, gun offhand, it's all OP. It all needs a nerf. You should quit if you use it. Rapier is not very good right now, actually. Rapier is pretty underwhelming in the meta because it's not the fastest swing speed. It's just kind of outshunned by like Flamekeeper, Dagger, because it has a worse crit. The Rapier crit's pretty bad. It's quite easy to parry. It has about the same damage as these two, and these two have a faster swing speed. That's kind of basically the only reason why they're not as good. So yeah, Rapier is just not very good right now in the meta. Okay, so moving on to mediums. Medium weapons are, I'd say, my favourite weapon class. I don't know. I'm kind of a main of heavy and mediums. I don't really have much bias because I use everything. So, but yeah, starting off with Curseblade. Curseblade is just a solid weapon right now. I'd say it's not really too meta because there's other medium weapons that are meta right now, but I'd say it's probably the best sword in the game, and it's a pretty good sword at that. It does good damage, has the base crit, has a good swing speed. Overall, it's good. Gladius is just kind of a worse version of Curseblade in my opinion. It does have a little bit of a better swing speed. It has the same swing speed as Champion Sword, if I recall correctly. It has quite a lot less damage, and it still has that base crit, which isn't great. But basically, the main reason is because of the investment points. You have to put 65 into medium to get Gladius, and to be honest, if you're going to go medium on your build, you're either going to go 40 medium for Champion Sword, 50 medium for Wardens, or you're going to go like 80 for Curseblade because of the really good damage that it has. So Gladius overall is just not too meta anymore. Shattered Katana, however, is very meta now, especially after the new crit rework, where it literally has like a 4-hitting crit, and it does so much damage, and it just guarantees so much. So yeah, Shattered Katana is really OP, and especially after they made it 90 medium requirements instead of 100, so you can now basically go Khan and have 87 medium, and you can have Shattered Katana with the busted crit. It does so much damage. Slow swing speed, yes, but the crit and everything else about it, the pen too, everything makes up for it being super OP right now. I'd say even before this new OP crit, it was kind of probably in meta or like at the top of good, but after this new crit, it's basically the best crit in the game. It's so OP. Champion Sword, meta weapon right now, really good. You can get around 24 to 25 damage with 40 medium investment, and you get an enchant on it, and it has fast swing speed. Really OP weapon, super good on like basically any build. If you want, so like people say like, oh, why don't you just go Hero Blade? So let's go into it. Hero Blade is what is it, like 27 damage? 27 damage. You get no enchant. Champion Sword 40, and also you have 0.75 swing speed on Hero Blade. Champion Sword, you have 24, 25 damage. So you have like literally 10% less damage, right? You go 40 stat points or 30, 37 with Khan. You get an enchant. An enchant is the hugest thing on a weapon like this, because you get Providence Thorns. That's literally 4% each time you parry twice. You get Metal. It literally ends the fight early if you have like a long fight. You get, I don't know, Blazing. You get Stone. Stone literally posture breaks. If you do this thing called Fast Fainting, which I'll go into in another video, you can literally get so many posture breaks with it. It's just really OP with all the best enchants. Champion Sword can really excel, so it's definitely meta right now. Falcon and the Scimitar are also quite good. Similar purpose, but just a lot less damage, like 16 damage. I think Falcon has about 18 damage. Scimitar has about 16. Both fast swing speed, but they're not as good anymore, I'd say, because you kind of do want that extra damage. And also Scimitar swing speed got nerfed. They might be higher, but I think overall Champion Sword, for 20 points more, you can get like 8 more damage. I'd say it's just better overall. Champion Sword has more utility, so yeah. Katana, I think, is quite underrated right now because there's that armor that does 25%. What it's called, like Royal Etrian armor. If you have it, you can basically have a katana with 25% more damage. So literally, if you go 25 medium and have that armor, I think you have like 26 M1 damage with katana. It's kind of mad, and you can have an enchant on it. So it's not really used too much in the meta right now. So I am just gonna keep it in good, but it definitely has a lot of potential to become a meta weapon. So if you are thinking of making a build, I would suggest going 25 medium katana, any enchant you want. But I think enchants that are good on it are stone, because the base katana crit is actually quite good for dealing quick posture damage. And you can go anything really. Like you can go blazing, you can go Providence Thorns, metal. I wouldn't say metal. Just like all the best enchants right now. You basically get an enchant on it. It's really good. So yeah, katana's in good right now. Serpent's Edge is also good, just doesn't really have a crit, and that's the thing, you can't really use the crit. They did actually recently add a new crit, I heard, but I haven't really seen it, and I haven't really seen it like being any good. So it's still a good weapon though. It has a decent swing speed, good damage, good range. That's kind of the only reason it's good. So I'm gonna say it's, I'm gonna put it in decent. Actually, it's not amazing. You don't really see it at all in top chime, and it's just not the best weapon right now for like PvP. So I'm gonna say it's about the same as Gladius, and about the same as Rapiers. Okay, next. Warden Ceremonial Sword is meta for the same reason as Champion Sword. Has a bit less damage, a bit more investment points, but more swing speed is kind of the main reason why people go it. I actually think I prefer Champion Sword overall, but Warden's is still a very good option to go, and it's very meta. Acheron's War Spit is the same thing, very meta, because you get so much damage. You get 28 damage with 40 medium, more damage than a Champion Sword by quite a bit. You get 28 damage, which is, I mean, let's think about it. That's the same as like a Gladius. I think there's more damage than a Gladius, and with only 40 medium, because it has innate bleed, has good pen, and spears are just really good overall for like the crit. And if you can have a build with 40 medium and an Acheron's War Spear with a really good crit, and you get the enchant, which is kind of the main reason why anyone really goes these weapons, then yeah, it's really meta and it's really OP. So True Seraph Spear, I don't think going spears is very meta anymore. I mean, they're still good, but they're just like, if you're good with them, then they're really good. But like, I'm just not too convinced that going 90 points for a spear, it does good damage. I think it does about 28 damage before bleed and about 36 after bleed, 37. So it's a good weapon, but I think it just gets outshone by all of these other meta weapons, and I think it's not too meta anymore just because of the 90 weapon investment, and it's not really gone too much anymore. Same thing as Curseglaive. Curseglaive is just a bit worse. It has innate bleed, so it does less damage than True Seraph overall, and also True Seraph does have the 40% chip, which is amazing. So yeah, Curseglaive is, I'm just gonna put it decent actually. Curseglaive is just quite a lot worse than True Seraph in my opinion, because the 40% chip really shines with True Seraph. Like 40% chip can take you, that's literally pre-nerf obfuscation, takes you a long way. So both these rifles, Summer Rifle is for like 40 medium builds if you want to go like, you get like 26 damage but you have a rifle, and also just the normal the rifle that everyone runs. Both meta right now. Rifle, I mean, need I say more, like Silent Heart rifle builds are really good, Flame rifle builds are really good, just all rifle builds are kind of busted right now, just because you can SO and just spam bullets. So yeah, rifle builds are winning right now. So on to the heavy weapons. They're all a bit like mixed up, so let me just fix these up real quick. Yeah, so heavy weapons, we're gonna start with First Light. It's decent, it's not amazing. The crit, you can kind of just run back and block it. The swing speed is pretty, I don't know, the thing is with heavy weapons and fast swing speed, it doesn't really work, because heavy weapons, the good thing about them is that they have really good mix up with uppercuts. When you have a fast heavy weapon, it kind of ruins that like synergy, so then you kind of just get a kind of mid damage. I think First Light does about 41 damage, fast swing speed. It just feels like a downgraded version of a medium weapon. The crit is actually what makes it decent, but even then the crit isn't like incredible. So I'm just going to put it in decent right now. Borderline needing a buff, but I think overall it's just, yeah, it's better than Drake Wars, I'd say. Okay, so next, Dark Alloy Greatsword needs a buff. Ignore that it says Dark Steel, it's Dark Alloy. Yeah, Dark Alloy needs a buff. It doesn't do too much damage. The crit is just kind of falling off the meta. Overall, it just gets outshone by all the other heavy weapons, so it's just really not that good right now. Halberd is very meta. Halberd has the best crit in the game, well, one of the best crits in the game. It's really good for mix-ups. It has no end lag, it has good range, good damage. Overall, I think it's the best heavy weapon in my opinion. Like, they're just the best base heavy weapon. Everyone should go it. You can even make builds with the normal halberd, the 25 heavy halberd. It's like 24 damage. You have the really good crit. You have really good utility, and you have the decent damage. So, yeah, overall halberd, in my opinion, the best heavy weapon in the game right now. Or the best like normal heavy weapon. Curse Cleave is also good. It can pair with Nemesis because, so the normal Curse Cleave crit is pretty terrible, but it has innate bleed, so it has really good damage once you have that innate bleed. So to make up for the terrible crit, you can actually use Nemesis instead, and can really excel in top chime gameplay. It's not too meta right now, but I'd say it's definitely a good weapon, and you can make very good viable builds with a Nemesis Curse Cleave. So yep, Railblade is in need of a buff right now, I'd say. Same case with First Light. Fast swing speeding heavies just don't work. Like, they just kind of have less mix up. Against a good player, if you use a Railblade, they'll literally be parrying every single thing. Whenever I play Railblade, it's so easy to parry, and that's kind of my point. It's not too good. It doesn't even do much damage. The crits, I'd say the crits are the best part about it, but even then they don't really do enough to put it into decent even. So I think that's another thing that needs a nerf. Pale Morning's just a decent heavy. It has good damage. It has the base heavy crit. Well, you know, I'm gonna put it in good actually, because the base heavy crit is really good mid combo. There's a lot of good combos you can do with Pale Morning, and it's good damage, and yeah, just a solid heavy overall. Now, Enforcer-X is, I'd say it's the top of decent. A good Enforcer-X player can do a lot. It does a lot of damage, but also the thing is about it is quite easy to parry. The crit really easy to parry. Like, all you really need to do is just kind of be a good player, like know how to react to stuff, and then Enforcer-X kind of will never hit you. So overall, I'd say it's just a bit under Pale Morning. It's kind of like borderline, not too good. So Stoneheart, it's also not amazing. You don't really see it ever in PvP. No, it's not terrible. The crit can be alright, but the crit can also give your enemy a free M1 so many times. So I'd just say it's maybe not in need of a buff, but it's just not really a PvP weapon in my opinion. I've seen it like once on a PvP build, and it just doesn't really seem to do that well, so I'm just going to leave it in needing a buff right now. Hive Lords is actually, I think Hive Lords is quite good because of all the mix-up you have with it. You have uppercuts, you have M1s, you have crits, and also obviously the really good damage with it. It's definitely not meta. It's at the bottom of good, I'd say. It's still a good weapon, and I could still see like really good builds going it. So yeah, now Petra's is I'm going to say it's top of good. It's actually, in my opinion, not as good as Halberd. I think it's the second best heavy in my opinion, because it does have a little bit more damage than Halberd, yes. Halberd has a way better crit. The thing is with Petra's is that the crit, although it's good for mobility, in PvP, the crit is quite easy to parry. Also, it has end lag. Huge problem with heavy, because with heavy you want no end lag, so you can have as much combo as you can. And Halberd has no end lag, which means you can make these dirty combos. You can 5-bar everyone with your sick combos. Whereas with Petra's, it just feels a bit sluggish, and like the combos are kind of missing. So though it does have more damage, if you want to go for a more combo heavy playstyle, which is kind of what heavy should be anyway, because heavy's only really good for combos, then Halberd is definitely the best heavy weapon in the game, in my opinion. Alloyed Halberd, that is. So yeah. Okay, moving on to legendary weapons now. I've literally used Flare Bloods already and stuff, and I've used Railblade, but we're just gonna go for like the elemental weapons. So yeah, starting off with Grand Pseudo-Ruska, it is broken right now. It is really, really good in the meta, and the crit is kind of the main reason. The crit is just so unfair. So many techs you can do. The crit just always seems to hit me, even if I parry it and roll it. I just always get posture broken. I always get hit by it. And it hides the anims on the way up. It gives them a free M1. And it's also just a really strong weapon. It's seen so much in the meta right now. Just, like, literally just plain ice Grand Pseudo-Ruska builds. There's some Grand Pseudo-Ruska Iron Sing builds. There's Grand Pseudo-Ruska Fire, which is really OP. Just overall, super nuts right now. It does need a bit of a nerf. Maybe to the crit, nothing else. But Grand Pseudo-Ruska is pretty busted right now. Cryptblade is only really decent, I'd say. After all the nerfs, I'm going to say Cryptblade is not too good anymore, because I'm only really talking about, like, you know, pure Shadow Cryptblade builds, because Shadow has really fallen off since all the nerfs. Like, it just doesn't feel the same. I mean, it does have the Shadow Gun block break, but even after all of that, like, I feel Shadow is quite underwhelming. Ever since they got rid of Blood Shadow, which was like one of the main things that made Crypt Blade like really good. Like, even then, like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling pure Shadow anymore. You can make you know, like dual attunement Crypt Blades. You can make Crypt Blade Ice. I'm sure Crypt Blade Gale could be fun, but none of them can be really be that meta, or they could really even be that very good. But if you want to make a fun build, I would go Crypt Blade, but I think right now pure Shadow is just not the way to go. Now, on the other hand, Curve Blade is very meta right now, for the main reason that Gale is on top. I think Gale was probably the best achievement right now, or one of the best at least. Has a lot of pressure, a lot of damage. Spectre Path is OP. Just really overall great pressure with Curve Blade, and it has the fast swing speed, it has the chip damage, it has the decent crits. Overall, Curve Blade is just meta in general. Deep Crusher, on the other hand, I've seen a few meta builds of Deep Crusher, and it can be good, but overall, pure Iron Sting isn't very good, and Deep Crusher is not really used much in the meta, obviously because of the 40 medium investment. And if you're going to go 40 medium, you're not really going to be able to afford to go a dual attunement build. I mean, you will, but then you won't be able to go, like, I don't know, other really important stats. So if you're going Deep Crusher, you're kind of going to be forced to go pure Iron Sting, and pure Iron Sting just isn't too good right now, I'd say. Iron Sting's only really good with other achievements, so I'm just going to keep Deep Crusher in decent for now. Storm's Eye is meta, and the reason being is just a rifle build. Rifle is really OP. The crit isn't actually too good on Storm's Eye, but the reason it's good is because Rifle's OP 1, Thunder's OP 2, and 3 does good damage, and that's kind of all you need, really. And also, actually, a good thing about Storm's Eye is that it has a 40 medium requirement, so with that, you can go medium. You can alternate between Storm's Eye and alternate between Champion Sword, and Champion Sword with Thunder is also really good. I keep fucking voice cracking, sorry. Yeah, so Storm's Eye is also meta. Storm's Eye is really good. And it doesn't really need a nerf too much, but you know, it could do with one. So I'm just going to quickly go through the Hero Blades finally, because Hero Blades are all about the same. So Wind Hero Blade, same thing as Curve Blade, not a good crit, but just really good utility because Gale is good. Thunder Hero Blade used to be in meta, but now Thunder's just kind of fallen off a bit. Same with Shadow. Shadow Hero Blade, it has a good crit, but Shadow's fallen off a bit, although you can have dual achievements and they can be meta, but I want to say for now, it's definitely better than Thunder, but I'm going to say for now, going like solely off Shadow Hero Blade, pure Shadow builds, it's not the best anymore. Ice Hero Blade is meta because you have all these cheesy builds, all these mage builds with Ice Hero Blade, and it just lets you save so many points. And the crit is not amazing, but you have all these Ice Fisher M1, Ice Eruption M1 builds, Ice Smash M1, Ice Eruption M1 builds. Really stupid, really OP, and you know, need I say more really. Flame Charm, decent crit, and basically Flame Charm alone, like just a base flame build, it's just really OP. With the Flame Hero, there's a lot of spam ability, has a lot of damage, a lot of tankiness, and overall just a really good weapon. So yeah, thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you did that, you know, you're a G, you're my guy, you're on the good list, you're not on the naughty list. You know, next Christmas you're not going to be getting Cole, you're going to be getting, you know, your new PS6, whatever it is, GTA 5 pre-order. So yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video coming up tomorrow, and thank you for watching. And make sure you can go and subscribe to my OnlyFans too. So peace.